Don't move to Burlington, Ontario until you learn where the best and worst neighborhoods are, where the shopping is located, what are the best local gyms, where the amazing parks, beaches, and community centers are located, the traffic bottlenecks, as well as the public transit system. But also in this video, I'll be exposing Burlington and talking about things I've never talked about in any one of my other Burlington videos, breaking down for you where the train tracks are, where the hydro lines are, where the wastewater treatments are, where the landfills and recycling centers are, as well as the industrial areas and the old oil refinery. So hopefully by the time you end up watching this video, you'll know everything that you need to know about Burlington and its map to make the best decision. So without wasting any more time, let's jump on in and discuss first where Burlington is located. So Burlington is located right beside Oakville in Hamilton on the Lake Ontario. It's about an hour drive to Toronto. Now, if we zoom in and see Burlington, we can really see it's broken down into 21 unique neighborhoods. Now, we'll break this down a little bit further and first discuss how Burlington is broken down first and foremost. So typically speaking, Burlington, if we wanted to break it down even more simply, is broken up by the 403 or the QEW right there. So on the south end is going to be the slightly older neighborhoods. Now, of course, the closer you get to the water, typically the more expensive the real estate is. You got Shore Acres and Roseland here, two fantastic neighborhoods with lots of custom infill homes. However, with that said, also the most expensive area to choose from. You have Pinedale and Elizabeth Gardens on the east side, some of the more affordable areas on the south end of Burlington to choose from. Then right in the middle, you're gonna find the two main high schools that are located right in Burlington in the Dines and Longmore neighborhoods. And then right beside that there is where you're gonna find downtown Burlington, which has the most amount of local gems to choose from. Then a little bit more west, you're gonna find the Aldershot Village, and the Aldershot neighborhood here has a lot of different options to choose from, but a similar vibe with those mature trees, large lots offering you similar to South Burlington. Then if we just kind of go up past the 403 and we look into what I would refer to as North Burlington, here you're gonna find a variety of neighborhoods. The older neighborhoods are gonna be more over here, especially in the Brant Hills and Mountainside neighborhood right here. These are gonna be the most affordable areas to purchase real estate. Then you'll find Tyendale over here, very similar to Aldershot, got mature trees. However, the typography of Tyendale is going to be a lot more hilly compared to the other regions. Also, Tyendale has no schools, however, has a fantastic opportunity for families to move in who want that privacy that those homes offer. And then throughout Burlington, right in the middle quarter, right here in the Palmer, Tansley, and corporate neighborhood, you're gonna find the most amount of townhome options to choose from. And then kind of more recently developed, you're gonna find the Alton Village and the Orchard. Here are two communities that are gonna have the higher density of just amount of homes within the neighborhood. With that said, fantastic schools, great parks, and a great opportunity for any families looking. And then you have the prestigious Millcroft neighborhood right here in the middle that has that golf course going around and larger detached homes. And then just out on the furthest north side, really in the rural field, you'll find some custom estate homes right sitting here with some fantastic parks. So now you have a quick overview of the different neighborhoods of Burlington. If you want to learn more about where are the best and worst neighborhoods and really get into the nitty-gritty of Burlington's neighborhoods, make sure you keep on watching. But if you're new here and want to learn everything about what it's like living in Burlington, Oakville, Hamilton, and the surrounding cities, make sure to hit the subscribe button. My name is Matthew, the founding realtor of the Living in Hamilton channel and team. And for the past couple of years, we've been helping people just like yourselves relocate here and buy a home. So if you're thinking about moving, whether it's 6 months or 60 days out, send us a message today. And I've lived in Burlington for the majority of my life, about 20 years before heading out to McMaster University and relocating to Hamilton. So I spent ample amount of time, one, living in Burlington, but now helping dozens of families relocate here and move. Now, if we flip on and we go to the next map and we first take a look at where the local gems are and shopping options are within Burlington. So we'll scroll this down so we can easily get clicking it. There are the local gems. There are the shopping. So we'll head out in Aldershot and we'll discuss where you're going to find the majority. So in Aldershot, as you can see, primarily a residential neighborhood, especially as you get closer to the water. But all the shopping you're going to be finding really in Aldershot is going to be on Plains Road. And typically speaking, the more shopping options is really going to be more on the eastern side right here. As one, you have the IKEA right here, as well as a Fortino's, a Yisk. But then you'll find a few other shopping plazas to choose from. Now, a couple of my local favorite gems that you'll have to check out when living in Aldershot is first, you got the Peach Coffee Co. in Aldershot, a local gem that is really popping up in a few different spots in Burlington and in Hamilton. But then you'll also find Russell Williams Family Breakfast for an amazing brunch. And then you can't forget to mention the Easterbrooks hot dog stand right here, serving one of the oldest restaurants in Burlington, really serving the best foot-long hot dogs. Then we kind of move over and we look now in the downtown area of Burlington. There's a couple of things you're going to notice here. So first and foremost, you're going to notice the majority of shopping is really going to be along Branch Street, especially as you get closer to Lakeshore Road. Here is where you're going to find Spencer Smith Park, where all of those festivals that happen. However, the most amount of local gems are here as well. Some of my personal favorite gems, if we just flip this one off for a second, you'll find you got the Corned Beef Hut for an amazing sandwich. You got the Sunshine Donuts for the best donuts in all of Burlington. But you also, if we zoom in a little bit more, you can find the Tamp Coffee House. That's the local coffee bar. I imagine that's the Son of a Peach Pizzeria. And here is Tamp Coffee House right beside the Son of a Peach Pizzeria. Lots of great shopping options to choose from. And actually in this area here, you're going to find a little thing called the Village in Burlington, which is really downtown. It really gets a look and feel like a European town. Now, if we flip back on the shopping, the other areas you're going to notice the most amount of shopping is going to be up here. And first is the Maple Avenue. This is going to have, in my opinion, the best mall in all of Burlington at the Mapleview Mall Shopping Center. It's my favorite mall to visit other than the Christmas time when it's super, super busy, but it has pretty much all the stores you would need. And then just a couple other shops throughout, including a Walmart right over here. I know some of my friends, family that absolutely needs to commute into Toronto on a regular basis love this shopping center, because what you will see is that there's a lot of great condo options right here to choose from. So Walmart is within walking distance, but you're also right beside the Burlington GO train station. That is the middle GO train station in Burlington that takes you out to Union Station in about an hour. If you want to learn about the other public transit options, keep on watching. But if we scroll over here more and look at where the rest of shopping options is in South Burlington, one, you're going to notice the Burlington Center right here. This is the other shopping mall within Burlington. It's really gone under a huge revitalization in the last couple of years. Compared to when I lived in Burlington, I would never go there. Now, I actually go there a lot because the Good Life's there, and that's, in my opinion, the best gym within Burlington. But you also have many different shops that are really coming in there. Some fantastic restaurants. One of my favorites you'll need to check out if you love Eastern European food or just European food in general. Dettinger's is right here, a great spot to go and shop at. But lots of shopping for the most part, as you can see, are really along Fairview Road here. Not as much around like the New Street Road right here. There is going to be some smaller plazas. In particular, I love this one over here. You got Mary Lou's, a great local shopping mart to get all your shopping necessities. And then finally, if we far out on the east end, what you're going to be noticing is one shopping center right here that's got a decent plaza to choose from. It's the Appleby Road Crossing Plaza. It's got a Fortino's, a couple local businesses like Duck Donuts, a recently addition donut spot in Burlington, but you also have like Saving Time as well as Jackson Landing, some great restaurants to choose from. But as you can see, like the shopping on the east side tends to be a little bit less, which is one of the reasons. Not only are you just a bit further out from the Burlington downtown, but just less shopping options to choose from. With that said, one shopping option that technically is a part of Oakville, but as you can see, like Burloak, right? It combines Burlington and Oakville. That's why the road's called Burloak. Has this massive shopping center here with many different outlet centers. You got a Home Depot, a Longo's I used to work at way back when I was in high school. But you also have a major Cineplex, a Nike factory outlet, and a lot of other shopping centers that you'll see kind of as you drive along the QEW here. And then if we flip up and we look more in the north end of Burlington, we're going to notice the most amount of shopping centers is really kind of in this box here for the most part. As you can see, the vast majority are really along Appleby line. You're going to find a lot of different shops and restaurants to choose from. Over here, you're going to find a Metro, Canadian Tire, Shoppers Drug Mart. My preferences for going for brunch is pure and simple right over here as well. But then just in this corner here, you're going to find the other Good Life in Burlington right here, as well as another Walmart, an LA Fitness, a Golf Town. You'll find a Rona actually up here as well, a Lowe's up there as well. So lots of shopping options, no matter if you're living in Alton Village, the Orchard, or Millcroft. And then as we head a bit more west, what you'll notice, not nearly as big of plazas as those ones right there on Appleby. However, some smaller plazas throughout, usually with a No Frills, usually with a Freshco, couple other, Dollarama, a couple other shops in the plazas to choose from. So no matter where you're living in Burlington, you're really going to be easy access to shopping options no matter what you're looking for. But as you can see, for the most part, a lot of shopping is really done within the south part of Burlington. And that's what I would say too. If we just flip off that, what you'll see is there's a couple local gems. Like you got Activate over here, one of my favorite spots, as well as Beertown Public House, a great spot if you want to go get a craft beer, enjoy some fantastic things. I have to recommend their beef brisket, poutine, but lots of great shopping options to choose from. But as you see, for the most part, it's like chain restaurants for the most part on North Burlington, where South Burlington is going to be a lot more of those local mom and pop shops. So now that you know the different shopping options, let's take a look at the park and community centers. Now, of course, if you want to get access to this map, the neighborhood map, and the future maps we're going to be talking about in this video, down below you can find a link to our Relocation Home Buyer Starter Kit that not only has these maps for Burlington, but also has these maps for Burlington, Hamilton, Oakville, Grimsby, Guelph, Brantford, pretty much any city we cover on this channel here, you'll find it. So again, we'll start in Aldershot and kind of make our way east and then north. So first and foremost, the most notable park would have to be the Royal Botanical Gardens right here. In total, I believe it's got 7 different unique parks to choose from. Fantastic ones, from big hiking trails to other ones that just have picturesque flowers depending on the season. Now, the most notable park in Aldershot definitely has to be LaSalle Park. It's got a marina, the only dock to have your boat stored within Burlington, but also just ample green space and outdoor pool to enjoy. Then you're going to notice the most prestigious and the exclusive golf course in Burlington, the Burlington Golf and Country Club, that actually has 2 holes right on the water here in Lake Ontario. So a stunning spot if you can afford the monthly membership or the yearly membership, I could call. And then as we move more inward, the 2 notable parks you're going to notice right beside downtown Burlington. You got Burlington Beach right here, which is a fantastic beach to enjoy. However, one of the downsides that we will be talking about later is there are hydro lines that run along Burlington Beach. So if you want to learn where the other hydro lines are running throughout the neighborhood, if you don't want to live near them, keep on watching. We'll be showing you exactly where they all are in Burlington. But then the other notable park, like I mentioned, is Spencer Smith Park. Right here, a fantastic park, my personal favorite waterfront park, and of every park that you can find in Burlington, Oakville, and Hamilton has to be Spencer Smith Park. I might be biased because I grew up living in this park here a lot, so fantastic option, especially in the springtime. Not only are there a lot of festivals, but you get the beautiful cherry blossoms right here as well. Then if we kind of move a bit more inward, you're going to find, Central Park right here. It's got a public library, lots of different local just events that happen here as well. A lot of the runs and races that happen really start in Central Park right here. But then you'll also find an arena as well as a variety of different soccer fields to choose from. Then if we kind of continue to move over east a bit more, as you're going to notice, you got a few more waterfront parks like the Burloak Waterfront Park or the Paletta Mansions Lakefront Park right here as well. But the next biggest park really is going to be Nelson Park right here. Spent a lot of time in this park here because I went to Nelson High School a long time ago now. But we got the BMX bike track. You got a bunch of different baseball diamonds, softball diamonds. You got a turf field. You got a full basketball court. You got an outdoor pool, an arena. So lots of opportunity here to enjoy, especially if you're living in the Longmore, Shore Acres, Roseland neighborhood. Then on the furthest east side, I guess the most notable park other than Burloak Park would be Sherwood Forest Park. If your kids are in soccer, especially if they play competitively like my sister did, you're going to find a lot of different soccer fields here, especially year round, because they'll put up some domes and have indoor soccer leagues that happen within this park here. Then if we move up a bit more north, what you're going to be noticing is just a few smaller parks located kind of throughout the middle corridor of Burlington here. Now, the most notable one I'd have to say is the Tansley Woods Community Center / park. Spent a lot of time here growing up, not only because it has a great pool, a great public library, but it's also a little forested area that you can enjoy and really walk around. Now, what's cool about this park here is it actually has the Itabashi Bridge. So those cherry blossoms I mentioned in Spencer Smith Park were donated by our sister city out in Japan, and so is this bridge. And you'll actually find a little Japanese garden here as well. So if you enjoy that, it's an absolute great spot to go check out. Other than that, as we kind of move a bit more east, or west, excuse me, we have 2 neighborhood pools. We have the Algonquin Colin, I think is how you say it, swimming pool, as well as the Mountain Gardens Mountainside Recreational Center that's actually recently been revitalized and got a brand new slide and a lot of other great things associated with it. And then right here, you're going to find the Tyendega Golf Course. This is the most hilly golf course that's in Burlington that, like, if you're going to play it, you definitely need to get a cart to walk around because it's just, you're going to be walking up and down the hills all day. Now, with that said, over here, you're going to find an old quarry that's now been turned into like a natural area in Kearns Cliff Park, another great park to go for a hike with your dogs and just see some beautiful views. And actually mention the dogs, you'll probably find the best dog park, in my opinion, right here at Bayfront Park or Bayview Park. Here, not only just has a great dog park, but actually is home to the only RC plane, I guess, like, I don't know, airstrip. I don't know really what to call it, but you can launch your planes here, or you can go on a weekend if you don't got a plane like myself and just watch other people, the hobbyists, have it out here. Now, a little hidden gem here right on King Road, kind of as you kind of pass this bend here. As you've probably heard, or maybe you haven't, there's a magnetic hill here. It's basically just an optical illusion where you can put your car in neutral and you can roll back, but it looks like you're rolling uphill. So that's right here on King Road that most people probably wouldn't know about. And then another great community center is the Brant Hills Community Center. It's got lots of different basketball courts. When I used to play basketball, I used to be here so many nights of the week. Just a fantastic community center. It's right beside another great school that we'll be talking about, all the schools in Burlington, in just a moment. But if we kind of move over more, you know what I mean, you're going to find a few more parks like the Island Park that's right beside Notre Dame Catholic Elementary School. But perhaps my favorite golf course within Burlington is the Millcroft Golf and Country Club. Here, as you can see, unlike Tyendega, unlike Burlington Golf and Country Club, they are really kind of concentrated in one kind of grouping. Here, it's throughout the neighborhood. So you got to be good with the golf. You got to hit the ball straight so you're not hitting houses. With that said, it's a great golfing course and a fantastic spot to live if you want to be within walking distance of this golf course here. And then you're going to find a few more different kind of neighborhood parks really in the Orchard as well as Millcroft. But perhaps the biggest park you can go visit is right here at Bronte Creek Provincial Park. Really, you can't see it, but this kind of river right here is more like a ravine. Huge down, which creates some great walking trails, some great dirt biking trails, or like mountain biking, I guess you could say. You can't take a motorized vehicle there, but you can, you know what I mean, do that. Or if you're into fishing, the salmon swim upstream here. And you know what I mean, back in high school, me and the buddies would go and absolutely cast the line out, and I could not recommend it more. You got a little camping area over here as well. Never camped there, but I've heard good things from other people who have. That's about it in terms of within Burlington. But if we go to the north part and we look, you're gonna notice a lot of golf courses. You got Hidden Lake Golf Course. It's got two different 18-hole courses, the old and the new. You got the Burlington Springs Golf and Country Club. You got Lowville. You got Mount Nemo. You got Crosswinds. But perhaps my favorite park, if you're looking to go for a hike, is the Mount Nemo Conservation Area. Not only does it have many great just trails to go and explore, but because it's on kind of the Niagara Escarpment, which is hard to see here, but you know what I mean, I'm sure my drone shots will show you, it just got some spectacular views that you can really hike along the escarpment ridge and just look out into all the farm fields that Burlington has to offer you. So in total, that really is the entirety of all the parks and community centers you need to check out when living in Burlington. Now, if we flip on the different schools here, as you can see, no matter where you're living in Burlington, for the most part, you're going to find a school to choose from. There's only one private school that I know of. It's the Glen Arbor Academy over here. Other than that, for the most part, they're either public or Catholic schools to choose from. You have the main Catholic school in South Burlington right here at the Assumption Secondary School. You got Nelson High School right here, my former alumni. You got Central Burlington, Aldershot, which is the new, recently highest rated high school within Burlington. Now, if you want to learn more about the recent rankings in Burlington, there's two spots you can go. The first is the Fraser Institute. They have a website that puts all the Ontario standardized tests from grade 3, 6, and 9 into an index out of 10. And this will show you anything above a 6 is going to consider above the provincial average. Now, with that said, the vast majority, or definitely the majority of schools within Burlington are going to be above the provincial average. If you want to learn where the best schools are in Burlington at the time of you watching this here, I'll link up to my most recent video where I break down the best schools in Burlington based on the most recent Fraser Institute rankings. Other than that, you're going to find a lot more schools up here to choose from, both public and Catholic. For the most part, in the neighborhood you're living is going to be the school you're going to be going to. The only neighborhood that I know really that you have to take a bus to, other than like the Tansley neighborhood doesn't have any of the corporate, but these kind of get shuttled out to the Orchard. These guys get shuttled out to Headland Forest or Palmer, is Tyendega. Over here, you're gonna get shuttled out typically down to like the central part of Burlington or out into the Brant Hills Mountain Gardens neighborhood. So overall, there is the schools. If you want to learn more about the different schools, go check a look at the Fraser Institute rankings for the most updated ones. And then if we flip on here and we look at where the public transit is located, first and foremost, let's look at the GO train station. So we have 3 GO train stations within Burlington. The first one is Aldershot GO right here. This is going to be like the end of Lakeshore West, which is going to be the train line that you're going to be taking into Union Station on a regular basis. So this one, if you want to get a seat every time when you go sit on the train, Aldershot is going to have lots of parking options to choose from. I actually know a lot of people that live in Hamilton will drive down to Aldershot because it just offers the ease of commuting to Union Station versus finding some GO trains in Hamilton. The other one we already mentioned is the Burlington GO train station right here as well. A great opportunity if you live close to downtown Burlington to hop on the GO train. And then the furthest east station is the Appleby GO train station right here that you can jump on and again get to, it's probably a 10-minute time saver, 15-minute time saver if you go grab the Appleby versus Aldershot. But relatively, when you're traveling an hour, 10 minutes doesn't make too much of a difference. Now, in terms of where the other public transit is, if we first flip on the map here and we look at the walk score, the transit score, and the bike score, as you can see, for the most part, they're sitting at about 40 for the walk and transit, and the bike is 60. But if we flip on and we look first at the walk score and zoom in to Burlington on the map and see where is the most walkable areas in Burlington. There's no surprise, the most walkable area in Burlington, I'd have to agree, is downtown Burlington, especially if you're living close to Lakeshore and Branch Street. But as you can see, if you're living basically closer to one of the main roads, it definitely is going to offer you a decent amount of walkability, as typically on major intersections like here on Plains, here on Fairview and Brant, Guelph Line and Fairview, even if you go up here like Upper Middle and Guelph, etc., you're going to find a plaza to get your basic amenities that you can easily walk to no matter what neighborhood you're living in. However, with that said, typically speaking, if you're looking for a detached home, it's going to be less walkable than a townhome or condo because townhomes and condos are typically built on the busier roads or closer to like the main roads, where detached homes are going to be more in the middle of it. But with that said, nonetheless, I still recommend if you're living in a detached home, townhome, or condo, a car is still going to be quite needed in Burlington to get around, because at the end of the day, like the busing route we'll see in just a moment is really going to be going throughout Burlington. However, it's about every 30 minutes and it's just less accessible compared to some areas in Toronto. Just in terms of like, if you're up here in Burlington and you want to get down to downtown Burlington, typically speaking, you're gonna have to go down here, Appleby GO, wait for the GO train, or like, at the GO train station stop, and then roll in with a new bus to Burlington GO. So it's a little bit more cumbersome and definitely adds some times to your commute. With that said, as you see, is quite walkable. Actually, talking about the transit, here is where you're going to see the most amount of transit lines to choose from. As you can see, a couple of options. Burlington is going, or downtown Burlington is going to have the most, but like you see, throughout Burlington, you're going to find a few transit lines to choose from. Now, if you're looking to jump on the GO bus, especially along the 407, which gets split right up here, you're going to find some great GO bus options here if you don't need to take the Union train, but you want to take GO bus in. With that said, this is the transit time. As you see, this is within 30 minutes. If we really bring it out, it's like an hour typically to 45 minutes to an hour to really, get bussed around Burlington in general. And the least public transit is going to be in the Roseland Shore Acres neighborhood, but also in Millcroft, as you can see here. Now, in terms of the bike lanes, if we flip these ones on, this is something Burlington is actually pretty good for us. If we zoom into the Burlington map, you're going to notice a decent amount of bike lanes throughout. There's two that I'll quickly mention. One, we have one that goes from Burloak all the way to downtown Burlington. Me and my family used to take this on a routine basis. We park here and go for like a Sunday morning bike ride all the way down here. And what's great is it actually then connects to Spencer Smith Park and then the waterfront trail down here. So you can really go for a long bike ride. And if you really want, you can kind of continue into Hamilton. But you're going to be noticing the other main biking path right here is going to be cutting through Mountainside. It's going to be cutting through Headland Forest and really starting in Millcroft. You have a little bit of an extension over here as well. With that said, as you can see, Throughout Burlington, you're going to notice a lot of different just bike lanes just on the shoulder of the road as well to choose from, as well as most neighborhoods here are going to have pretty quiet streets that you can easily bike on the road, no problem. So now that you know the different public transit options, let's take a look now and quickly look at where the bottlenecks are in Burlington. So this is the live traffic right now, but you know what? Let's flip it to the typical traffic and we'll go Thursday at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock. Sure, 5:15. So here you're going to notice first and foremost, the biggest bottleneck is really going to be on the 403, and the most you're going to notice it is really here. When I'm driving back to Hamilton, this is where I can almost guarantee you I'm getting stopped and waiting, because what's great about Burlington is it's super easy to jump on the highway because there's only one highway. With that said, it also creates a bottleneck because here's where it splits or here's where it converges depending on the direction you're going. You have the 403 out here, which is going to head out to the west side of Hamilton. And then you have the QEW here going over the Skyway Bridge and then heading out to Niagara in the east side. So as a result, this really gets bottlenecked up here. And especially during rush hour traffic, like 5:15, it's much better. But if we pass it by, by 7:15 or 7:30, it's pretty good. Same with like throughout the day, it's pretty good as well. But if we go back to like where it's the worst, you're going to notice some traffic here. The other bottlenecks of traffic I'll quickly mention that I notice on a routine basis is one going to be a downtown Burlington right here, especially if there's any events and festivals happening, but also just in general, it's a one-way going each way with like a turning lane occasionally on Lakeshore. And as a result, this definitely can find some bottleneck times. Few other spots, Plains Road and Fairview really get bottlenecked here. And I think that's because people hop off the highway because a heads up play a lot of the time that I'm doing is I'll take the north service or the south service road to try my best to avoid this bottleneck here on the 403. With that said, I think a lot of other people do that as well, and that's why you see some bottlenecking on Plains Road and Fairview here, because people are jumping off, going here, and then they're going to try to jump on the QEW right here, avoiding that bottleneck, and that's why that's kind of bottlenecked here. Other than that, a couple other areas you're going to notice it. For the most part though, when you get off, as you see, it's pretty green for the most part. You'll find Walker's Line gets some traffic, and surprisingly here, it's actually a bit busier and more bottlenecked up. For me personally, maybe it's just my luck. I find Appleby Line here is actually worse. Maybe I just hit all the red lights, who knows. I try to avoid Appleby, that's all I can tell you when I'm driving around Burlington. I'll either get off on Walker's or I'll get off on Burloak here and then drive around, because I just find Appleby constantly gets backed up. But other than that, it's pretty good. And if you're willing to pay for the private road or the 407 right here, as you can see, it's flowing and it's flowing always great. However, it's not always the most accessible depending on where you're coming from, but it's another option to choose from. However, you will be charged per kilometer you drive on it. So now you know the different bottlenecks within Burlington. Let's take a look now and see where the majority of real estate and what real estate is selling within Burlington. So if we go here and we first look at the detached homes sales in the last 12 months, you're going to notice a couple of things. The vast majority of detached homes in Burlington are typically selling for just over $1 million to about 1.5 is going to be the majority of homes to choose from. You will find a lot also still from really 1.5 to 2 million, a little bit over, but not many under $1 million. So if we take a look here and we first look at detached homes that are really selling under that $1 million price point, what you're going to be noticing, the vast majority of homes that are detached that are going to be selling for under $1 million. So what you're going to be noticing is a couple things. Here is typically going to be those original bungalows, back splits, side splits, typically on the smaller side throughout. And for the most part, the most popular neighborhoods that are going to be selling under $1 million for a detached home is Brant Hills, Mountainside, and then you're going to find some of the original homes in Aldershot, in Longmore and Dines, as well as the Pinedale Elizabeth Gardens neighborhood. Then if we look at any detached homes selling between that $1 million to $1.5 million mark, this here is either going to be those more recently updated and finished original bungalows. Oh, thumbs up, nice. But for the most part, you're going to find bigger or more updated older bungalows, especially in the Brant Hills Mountainside neighborhood, throughout Aldershot, Dines, Longmore, and especially in the Pinedale neighborhood. But here you're also going to be noticing some more of those newer detached homes in the Orchard and Alton Village as well, with a few in the Headed Forest neighborhood. And then if we look at anything from $1.5 to $2 million, here are really where you're going to see basically nothing is selling in Brant Hills and Mountainside, but you're going to notice two things. It's going to get concentrated more and closer to the water and more up north towards the newer homes. So you're going to find a lot of custom infill projects really on South Burlington, in the Shore Acres, Roseland, close to downtown Burlington, as well as in Aldershot, Tyendega is going to have some great options just because of the large lots and large homes that they offer, as well as you're going to notice a lot of opportunity great in the Millcroft neighborhood, a few in the Orchard, especially as they're getting closer to Bronte Creek, and then a few as well of the largest detached homes in the Alton Village neighborhood. And then if we look at this map here, this is anything that's selling over $2 million in the last 360 days. As you can see, you're going to find them really in Millcroft, Tyendega, really in that Shore Acres, Roseland neighborhood, a few in the Aldershot, and then some great estate properties out in Burlington. And then if we look at where the townhomes are selling in Burlington, you're going to notice two ranges. Now, the first range is going to be from really anything from like 600 to like 900,000, and then you'll find them from 900 to really like 1.25 million. Now here, typically speaking, the condo townhomes tend to be selling on the lower side. The freehold townhomes that are slightly bigger tend to be selling on the higher side of this range here. So if we first look at where the majority of townhomes are selling between that $700,000 and $900,000 mark, there's going to be a couple of options to choose from. So first and foremost, it's really going to be along Plains Road here or Fairview Road right here. It's going to be the most amount of options to choose from for townhomes just in general. Typically speaking, as you get closer to the lake, there's just less townhome options available to choose from unless they're in downtown Burlington, in which case they're going to be more expensive. Then you're going to find lots of options really in the Brant Hills Mountainside neighborhood. And then lots of options really on the edges of Heddon Forest, Millcroft, Alton Village, and Tansley is going to have a high concentration of really those condo townhomes to choose from. Then if we look at any townhomes that are selling between that $900,000 to 1.1, so basically around $1 million, lots of options in the Alton Village, lots of options in the Orchard. Now we're starting to get more into those freehold options to choose from, as well as more options really in that downtown part of Burlington, as well as a few larger collections really out in the Pinedale neighborhood, as well as the Longmore and Dines neighborhood over here to choose from. And then if we really look at any townhomes that are selling above that $1.25 million mark, you're going to be noticing two parts. It's really downtown Burlington or Millcroft. And a lot of these ones in Millcroft are actually backing onto a golf course. So I know a lot of people that are looking to retire love looking into Millcroft because of that there. Then if we take a look and we see where the majority of condos are selling in Burlington, here we can see that the vast majority are really selling between that $400,000 to $600,000 mark, and then the next majority are really selling between that $600,000 to $900,000, and that's because the majority of condos that are sold are usually those one bedrooms. Then you start to get into bigger two bedrooms that are kind of in that higher range. So if we first look at anything that's sold between $400,000 and $600,000, you're going to be noticing a couple of things. It's kind of spotted throughout, but really downtown Burlington's going to have a high concentration, a few in Aldershot, but then you're going to notice some low-rise buildings kind of circling Millcroft, especially in that Tansley neighborhoods and the Orchard Park. Right here, they're all pretty much going to be low-rise. The really only high-rises you're going to be finding in Burlington are in downtown Burlington. A couple newer buildings are in Aldershot, as well as a brand new building right here, and a new one actually being built as well, right on the edge of the 407, right in the Alton Village. Then if we look at anything selling between that $600,000 and $800,000 mark, these here are going to be the larger units in those low-rise buildings, kind of on the north side of Burlington. But also here, you're going to notice a higher concentration of really those downtown Burlington condos because of all the great local gems you get access to, as well as just the walkability it provides, and then a few out in the Elizabeth Garden neighborhood. And then if we look at anything that's selling over $800,000 for a condo, pretty much for the vast majority, it's going to be downtown Burlington, and then you'll find a few penthouses as well in the Elizabeth Gardens neighborhood to choose from. So if you want to learn more about the different real estate options, where we think the best and worst neighborhoods are for you in Burlington, send me and my team a message today. We'd be happy to help you out. But since you stuck around to the end, let me share with you where some of the biggest deal breakers for my clients are when thinking of moving to Burlington, so you know if these are a deal breaker as well, you can avoid them. So if we go here and we look, and we first take a look at the rail lines, you're going to notice two major rail lines in Burlington. Let's switch this map to this one here. So the first one here is we have the CH rail line. This is going to be more of those industrial trains that are coming, maybe once every hour, roughly speaking, and it comes out from Milton and kind of cuts through a little bit of the Orchard, a little bit of Millcroft. You have Palmer, then it kind of goes through the industrial area here, and then kind of meets up with the other main rail line right here. Now this rail line here is going to be the GO Train rail line. So These are going to be shorter trains, but more often, I mean, every 30 minutes, you're going to find a GO train at the minimum, probably actually 2 every 30 minutes, because there's 30 minutes going one way and then 30 minutes going the other as well. To choose from. So if you want to avoid living near the train tracks, this is what you can find. But as someone who actually lived near the train tracks for the majority of my life, close to this one here, the CH rail line, what I'll notice is, like, if you're outside, you'll notice it, no doubt. However, if you're inside your house, you won't notice it. So something to keep in mind. Then in terms of where the hydro lines are, and these are the big ones, you're going to notice really there's two. So again, it's going to start up here and kind of cut through a little bit into Alton, a little bit into Millcroft, the Head and Forest neighborhood, as well as Mountainside. And right behind the IKEA in Burlington is actually the huge Hydro 1 transmission station. Then it continues, the Hydro line kind of pops back out here, goes through the Maple neighborhood of downtown Burlington and along Burlington Beach, like I was mentioning. These are where those major hydro lines are. So if you don't want to live near them, try to avoid this area here. Then if we take a look at where the industrial area is, there's going to be two areas I'll point out. So first is just really along the QEW 403 is we're going to find light manufacturing, a lot of warehousing, couple like recycling centers that we'll touch on in just a moment. But for the most part, it's going to be light industrial areas here. Then out in Oakville, but since it's right bordering Burlington, I thought I would mention it, is the Suncor oil storage. Now, this used to be an oil refinery, but back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, they shut that down. So now it is literally just an oil storage, but something to keep in mind as well if you don't want to live near here. Then if we flip on and we look at where the wastewater treatment plants are, so we'll first take a look at probably the most notable one that you'll notice during a humid day, especially if you're at Burlington Beach, because it's right beside Burlington Beach. And that is this here. I should also mention, because I haven't mentioned it yet, this is where the Joseph Brand Hospital is in Burlington, the main hospital in Burlington. Here, though, is where you're going to notice probably the smelliest time during those humid days for this wastewater treatment plant. Then another water treatment plant in Burlington, definitely less smelly, is just over here, really on the furthest east side. Technically speaking, it's in Oakville, but because, again, you're right beside Burlington, I thought I would mention that. Then you're going to find a water purification plant here. I wouldn't really point this out other than because I have to mention it because I'm talking about the other water treatment plants. This here, you won't notice it just looks like a building unless you knew exactly what it is. However, these next two you definitely want to be aware of. First is the waste and recycling drop-off right here. So if you're ever doing like a big project, have a lot of yard waste, etc. Whoopsies, don't want to move that. That's right here, right along Mainway and Appleby, you're going to find it. Again, though, if you're driving by it and you don't know it's here, it's going to be hard to find it. Then the last one I'll mention is really out here in the rural area, and this is where the landfill is. So it really doesn't matter to you. As you see, it's really actually more north of Oakville than it is Burlington. However, this is where all of Burlington's waste goes. So if you're thinking about some area that you want to buy out in rural Burlington, this is probably the area you want to avoid. So hopefully now you have a complete breakdown of Burlington's map, and you better understand where the local gems are, the shops, the parks, the different neighborhoods, the traffic bottlenecks, and the deal breakers that you need to avoid. But if you want to learn why I love Burlington and also why I moved out of Burlington, then that's the next video I'd recommend you go take a look at. So you can find that video right here. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.